Dear colleagues, first of all, Happy New Year! I hope that 2024 began with lots of energy and excitement. And I am delighted to see that you have decided to start this new year with an interpreting practice session. Today's topic is CPD. Therefore, in this consecutive speech, I would like to talk to you about the trainings that SCIC interpreters receive. For those who don't know it, SCIC interpreters are those who work in the interpreting services of the European institutions. Firstly, SCIC interpreters can join many different language courses, the objectives of which may be completely different. There are courses for interpreters who want to learn a new language in order to add it to their language combination as a C language. There are courses for interpreters who want to strengthen and deepen their skills in a language that they already speak in order to be able to interpret from that language. There are courses for interpreters that want to maintain their working languages. And lastly, there are rhetor courses, which are courses for interpreters that want to activate a language in the booth. In other words, that want to turn a C language into a B language. Furthermore, the interpreters that take language courses in order to add a C language or to activate a B language are entitled to go to the country where the language is spoken for a language stay. Needless to say that both the courses and the language stays are fully covered by SCIC. However, all that glitters is not gold. The courses do come with some strings attached. In the case of the C language courses, interpreters have a deadline. They can learn the language at their own pace. In 3 or 4 years, they must reach at least a C1 level, particularly in listening, so that they can begin to interpret from that language in the meetings in which they are affected, as we say in Brussels English. Language stays also have very strict requirements as to their length and the time in which they can take place. They will always be in August, when the institutions are on their summer break, and the stay will last for 1, 2, or 3 months, according to the number of years that the interpreter has been learning that language. I should also mention that there are not always courses for all the languages and at all the levels. Sometimes interpreters have to look for a teacher or course and will be reimbursed at a later date. However, I would like to end this part of the speech on a positive note. All interpreters adding a C language have the right to attend several dummy booth sessions. That allows them to gain real experience working from that language before they actually have to interpret from that language. It also should be mentioned that not all trainings are directly involved with language learning. As you all know, many times understanding the topic of the meetings is key in order to be able to deliver a good interpretation. For this reason, the training unit in SCIC organizes many talks and seminars on different topics related to the meetings in which interpreters work. For instance, in the last few months, we have held some lunch talks. What were these lunch talks about? Well, these talks were a sort of preparation for the upcoming presidency, the Belgian presidency of the Council of the European Union, which started last week on January 1st, 2024. Each talk tackled one of the areas of the Belgian presidency. The objective of these talks was to provide interpreters with conceptual information and technical terminology that will be extremely useful in the upcoming months. For many interpreters, it was also an opportunity to listen to a talk in Dutch, something quite relevant, since there will be many meetings in which Dutch will be spoken. The Belgian presidency will be bilingual in French and Dutch. Therefore, some meetings will be chaired in French, others in Dutch. SCIC also offers many trainings about history. Last month, we organized a seminar about the history of Ireland in the 20th century. Also, just before Christmas, SCIC interpreters were invited to join a 3-hour talk about the countries ending in stan. Those countries in Central Asia surrounded by Russia, China, and India that nobody ever talks about. And if you were thinking that SCIC interpreters don't organize practice sessions, it's time to prove you wrong. They absolutely do. Many booths offer 1-hour practice sessions. The 23 booths of the European Union Interpreting Service hold practice sessions for the interpreters of the other booths, so that they can work on their interpreting skills when working from their language. For instance, the English booth would offer a session with 3 speeches in English for those interpreters who work with English as a B or as a C language. However, unlike freelance interpreters, SCIC interpreters do not follow any training on taxes or personal brand because they don't need it. Their job is guaranteed. By the way, we will discuss about personal brand in the second half of today's session. That said, I hope that you found my speech informative. Now you have some information on how SCIC interpreters keep with their interpreting skills updated and fresh. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you for your attention.